my stitchy friends. Welcome back to Lala Day Stitches. My name is Laura and I'm so glad you've joined me today. I am here with a quilting bee. We're going to talk quilting today. It'll be good. I've got a lot to show you. I've got some finishes and I've made a lot of progress in the piecing world. And yeah, lots to show you. So let's dig right into it. It is a very wet, dark gray afternoon here. So hopefully, I've got every light on I have in this room and hopefully it's enough that everything shows up well. But today was the day I have the most time this week before I have company coming into town next week. So filming was today. Okay. Let's start with my featured designer segment. So I'm not actually going to do a designer, one specific designer, but rather a theme of a theme. So I have a few patterns here that are some of my favorite star quilts that I've gathered over the years. And these are quilts that I have seen done or I've been inspired to acquire from magazines, some of them, and mostly just quilts I dream of doing one day. One day I'll have a house full of star quilts. I love piecing stars. I think they're really interesting, and you can have a really modern twist on a very traditional motif or just keep it really elegant and traditional, and I love both versions of it. So here they are. The first one is a pattern from Then Came June called the Sienna Starburst quilt, which is a bit more modern, but this could be so gorgeous. I mean, I can see it in several different color palettes, and it really gets the juices flowing. So pretty. Love that one. And I love patterns that give you yardage requirements for multiple sizes on the back without having to dig through it. That's always nice. Let's see, where do you put these? Put it here. Okay, looks like we're kind of going older through my patterns for the most part. So this next one I found just a couple of years ago while I was on vacation. I went into a shop and it had been done in batiks. It was amazing. It was so striking. It's called Starburst by Glad Creations. And sorry for the glare. The hazard of lamps is light coming from a lot of different sources. But this is, obviously very traditional color palette here. It's beautiful. But they had done theirs in, it was stunning. It was oranges, pinks, reds. It was like a starburst. It was so beautiful. But I could see this in blues and purples. Maybe going a little bit more into the, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Aurora Borealis kind of color palette. I think that would be really gorgeous too. Someday. And I love a piano keyboarder. On my first few quilts, I did piano keyboarders, and I love the effect, especially when you do a scrappy quilt to like have all the colors around it. I don't know. I think it's pretty. Oh, this one's beautiful. This one was a block of the month before I got to the last shop I worked at. Stardust Serenade by the Rabbit Factory. They did theirs in Japanese taupes. Oh my land, you guys, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. So because the block of the month had ended by the time I got to the shop, I did not do that. But I bought the pattern, and one day I will make it. It is a combination of piecing and applique. You can kind of see these alternate blocks in between the stars are all appliqued, and then the border. So beautiful. Yeah, that's one I wish I could show you in person, because it was stunning, as my sister would say. This one I've not seen done, but it was $1 at a swap meet of some kind. And oh my goodness, I love it. I think I would do it in those colors. I love the kind of taupey, chocolatey browns with the blues. So beautiful. But again, and this is one of the beautiful things about more traditional quilts, is their color palette is only limited by your imagination. You could do it, if your favorite color is greens, do it in greens. Oh my goodness, it would be gorgeous. It would be gorgeous in greens. It would be gorgeous in purples or orange if you love oranges, or pick your color and run with it. Really, really beautiful. This one, I'll show you the back. Oh, I'll show you the front first. So this one I saw in an old magazine. I used to always pick up, and I still do on occasion. It's just they have to catch my attention nowadays. But in the past, I was a sucker for the Better Homes and Gardens quilt sampler editions, where they would go to different shops through the country, or even just, the Americas. I don't know that they ever went overseas, but I know there were a couple in Canada a few times. And anyways, they would go around and photograph beautiful quilt shops, and the shops would contribute a pattern. And this was not one of the ones contributed, but you can see I ripped it out of the magazine. They had on their wall, when they were photographed, a sample of this quilt, and I tore it out of the magazine because I was like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I would love to make that, but there was no information. Well, I wound up living in the deep south in Mississippi, and there was this tiny, tiny, tiny little quilt shop that I went into a few times. And the first time I was there, what did I find? But Southern Star by Bits and Pieces. And I saw this pattern, and I was like, oh, that's the quilt from the magazine that I loved a couple years ago. And so I snatched up the pattern and then I had to put the inspiration in there because I loved what I saw there. This is a very washed out photograph, as so many, it's hard to photograph, especially, I don't know when this pattern was made, but I bought it over 15 years ago. So, photography's come a long ways. Anyways, so that's that one. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. Again, a combination of piecing and applique. It would be a beast, but it would be one of those beautiful pieces that you would hope somebody in your lineage would take care of and keep forever and ever and ever and get passed down. I'll have to make it and then write in my will that it goes to my niece or something, so it doesn't go to Goodwill. Okay, my last one is my most recent star acquisition, and Cream and Sugar by It's So Emma. This is so beautiful. Oh yes, it was. It was designed as a block of the month, and I love it. And I have been wanting for years, normally I would look at this and be like, oh, it'd be so pretty in a color. But this is one of the few that I actually love in the neutrals, because I've been wanting a neutral quilt to lay over my bed as like your base comforter that you could then drape something brighter and more themed throughout the year on. So it would be like your consistent, base decoration. So I might choose to go a little softer make it more blendy, than it even is, so that it could have that effect. But anyways, this is one I dream about. This is one I think about. I think it's beautiful and no applique. So, so when I'm needing something that I just sit at the machine and do, this would be the right kind of project. Okay. So that's all I found a few more stars, but those were like my favorite star patterns that I've collected over the years. So I hope that was fun for you. It's always fun to go digging through my patterns and be like, okay, what am I going to show them? At some point I will run out and And what will we do? We'll have to have a new segment of some kind. Okay, let's get into what I did. We'll start with finishes. So the first one, this, and I meant to grab the pattern and totally forgot. I know it's called Mod Rings. This is one that I had started. It's all washed and ready for use. Washed and bound, quilted, washed, bound. I'll show it to you after I talk to you. Holding you hostage. I started this one years ago. This is one of the first projects I bought when we were newly married. I bought a jelly roll and I loved the jelly roll and the pattern, and I bought the backing at the same time. Like it was a full kit up of this line that, again, I don't have information on. It's a Moda line, old Moda line. Like if it was it was probably in the first year we were married, so we're talking 12 years ago. Moda. Rain and Shine or something like that. And I've shared this before in my trunk show. I shared it. And it was a tale of woe because I quilted about 2/3 of it and flipped it over. I should have flipped it over earlier, but I flipped it over 2/3 of the way into it. I think I'd had to change my bobbin or something like that. And woe is me, my tension was crap. And what it really was my machine was on the verge of death. And but that was the machine I used to quilt all of my quilts for many years. And so I was kind of at a loss. I was like, I tried for hours and hours and hours to fix it. I called my mom because she knows a lot about the machines. I Googled how to repair things, and no matter what I did, I could not fix it. I took it in for repairs. It didn't fix the issue. So the machine was just dying. It was just old and it was dying. So that was the sad truth of it. But because it pooped out on this quilt, I completely lost motivation, and I was stuck with this dilemma of whether or not to rip all of the quilting that I had done out, because the tension wasn't so bad that I couldn't leave it in. It was clearly getting worse as I did things, but found a thread. It wasn't so bad that I felt like if it washed, that the tension would kind of tighten with that washing. And so I was debating whether or not to rip it out, and I didn't want to keep going until I decided it and until I had a machine that it would work well. Anyways, long story long, it's done. I have a new machine, and I finally looked up how to, I had a Zoom quilting bee, like real life quilting bee, with a couple of my friends, Kelly from Pages and Stitches and Amy from Fiber Arts Amy. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. We met for Zoom and we kind of worked on our own projects and we just chatted, and it was exactly what a quilting bee should be. I so enjoyed it, and so thank you, Amy, for heading that up, because let's do it again. That was wonderful. But I was kind of explaining when I talked to them that, what was I explaining? I don't know. I just totally got derailed. What were we talking about? This is why I normally do videos in the morning, because I'm more fresh and my brain works better. What was I telling them about? Oh, Lordy. Anyways, it's done. Oh, my machine was my grandmother's machine, and I inherited it, and it is a beast. It's a big, beautiful beast. And I'm completely over my head in it. And at the time, so a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't know if I should, I tried to do something with it and it totally gloobered up, and I'm sure it was operator error. It totally was operator error. And so I was just feeling overwhelmed, and I had all these quilting plans, and then I wasn't getting them done because I was intimidated by my machine. Anyways, I got over myself and looked up some videos and went through my manual. And it wasn't that hard. It was just a matter of pushing the right buttons and getting it in the right setting and not confusing it with other things. And it worked beautifully. It stitched beautifully. My thread that I had to use, I ran out of the original thread, and so I subbed it. I don't know if you'll be able to see. So this first one, it's not going to show very well, partly because of our lighting. But it's very much in keeping with these colors. Like it goes light almost into aquas, but then it goes into these periwinkle blues. And then the new, where's the new one? It's in a different corner. This one, yeah. The new thread is also a variegated blue, but it's much darker. Still in the right color palette, but darker. So the nice thing about that was I had gotten lost when I was quilting. Normally I do like columns from the center out. But I didn't this time. I got lost. I got enthusiastic in my wandering. And so it like started in one corner and then went up through the middle. I kind of just morphed into this weird blob. So the good thing about that was that the new alternate color quilting thread is actually in 3 different spots instead of it being like half and half. So you'll never even know. Anyways, ran out, finished it. So pretty, right? I mean, it's totally not the current season's color palette. It's very summery. And so I will probably tuck it away until summer. But it's done. The saga ends. And it's all washed and crinkly, and I love that freshly washed crinkly quilt texture, and I love the backing, which I didn't even realize until after it was quilted is stripes. So that's exciting. It's really pretty. I love this fabric, but it's amazing that I didn't wind up piecing it weird and having a really obvious line or something, because I had no idea it was stripes. Anyways, there she is, all done. And I wound up using a Ruby Star Basic for my binding, because even though I had binding cut a couple weeks ago, when I finished this a few days ago, I could not find my binding to save my life. And I went digging in my closet for a good hour before I was like, this is dumb. I was like cussing at the closet. Where's my binding? I'm so close. I'm on a roll, and now I have to pause because I can't find it, even though I had it and it was ready to go. Cut out and everything. Whatever. It was a good happenstance because I actually like this one better than the one I had. So that worked out well. And it's not an expensive replacement, thankfully. Okay, so that's my first finish. I don't think I need to stand for my other ones. Yay. I'm gonna turn my camera a little bit. So my next one is one I've been talking about for the last couple videos, I think. There we go. This is the Hexy Pillow by Modern Handicraft. I have made this before. I did it in a really fun rainbow. I did 2 of them. But my one complaint is they have an envelope finish in their patterns, and that's how I finished mine. But it's never, envelopes, I don't know. In my experience, they just don't stay closed. They don't look tidy, and I want my husband already thinks my pillows are clutter, so I want them to be tidy clutter because they're not going anywhere. I like them. Anyways, so I made it. I had a little charm pack, and I had my little tag here. Yes, it's Moda Spellbound by Sweetfire Road. Will it focus on that? Nope, it's going to focus on my face. Cover my eyes. Nope. Okay. Anyways, Spellbound. It's an older line. I don't know if you can find it anywhere anymore. I've been hoarding this for a while. But it's so funny because I had an alternate charm pack. There we go. And I was going to do 2 that would kind of be similar but different, and when you glue based, or when you baste, you can baste it however you want. I glue basted my hexagons, and when I was glue basting it, I was like, I don't like this one as much as the other one. I probably won't even use these. Maybe I'll just pick my favorites. Like, I really like that one. And then I started laying it out on this fabric, and it became my favorite, and I didn't even make the other one because who needs it? I'm so tickled with how it came out. It's so cute. And I did just a zipper down the back, really super simple, nothing complicated. And this one is actually a current fabric. This pillow's so squishy. I'll just take a nap. It's a Moda. I don't remember what this is. Well, if I can find it, I will put it down below. Anyways, but I love how it complements the front, but it's not like matchy-matchy, and it won't gap in the back because there's a zipper, and yay! And because it's a zipper instead of like a stuffed pillow, when the season is over, I can take this out and use the pillow for words, Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, winter pillows or whatever. I'm really enjoying having the condensed storage of these pillows, because pillows take up a lot of space to store. Anyways, there she is, the Hexy Pillow. I'm gonna put her back here. All right, and then my last but not least, by any means, finish, put that pattern there, is my vintage truck through the year. Now you may be thinking, Laura, you said that you were going to make this into a pillow. Don't you have another pillow? Well, no. Buttermilk Basin, vintage truck through the year, October. Because I realized just now that I didn't say the whole thing. No, I did not finish it as a pillow because it's rectangular, and I couldn't, I don't have any rectangular pillow forms, and so I would have had to go out and find one or make one, and it was just extra steps and I didn't want to. Plus, I have the perfect spot to put this as a wall hanging. And here she is. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. I love the little ghost faces. Oh. I did not put a pumpkin stem on this one because I forgot to draw it and I didn't notice it until I was stitching. And then it's like, well, whatever. Some pumpkins, their stems break off, and maybe that one did. So I just added, cut it down so that it was equal measurements from the widest points and the top and the bottom, and added, this was originally a 1-inch strip and this was a 2 1/4 inch strip, I think, for my different borders, and found a rando backing fabric from my stash. Did some real quick wandering stitching and just a couple, like I did a little border stitch, almost a stitch in the ditch kind of idea, echo around that and around this, just so they were nice and tacked down. But the rest is hand pieced, and it was super fun. It was super fun to do, and I can't wait to get it up on the wall in my entryway. It'll be really fun. I love, you can't really tell because the lighting is terrible. But in this border piece, the dots in the middle are actually, they're kind of a teal green, very dark. And in good lighting, this truck is not actually black. It is, you can almost see a little bit there that it's got a green, it is a hand-dyed wool. So it has some green in it and it's so pretty in good light. Yeah, anyway, super fun. I did save, in case you wanted to know, there's only 2 real prominent embroidery moments other than the words in black, but, and faces, I guess, but the spider web I stitched with a Cosmo 5028, and then the fly stitch down the truck I stitched also with a Cosmo, and of course it is upside down. Let me flip it around. 8069. So, I mean, I don't know that anybody wants to know, but just in case anybody has questions about that, it's got dog hair in it already because all projects have pet sparkles in my house. I changed the house to purple because I love a little bit of purple in my Halloween, and I am really tickled with it. I think it looks really cute without being completely disconnected from the rest of the project. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, there are supposed to be buttons on the wheels. I tested them and I didn't care for how it looked, so I just left it as is. Yeah. Let's see, anything else I want to say about this? Oh, yes. So here's a little tip. And this is a question I used to get when I would teach wool applique. How do you stitch on black? And because it's harder to draw a line. So normally I would say I have a Bowen chalk pencil, which is lovely. I could not find mine to save my life. And I have this cheapy marking pencil, which has white chalk. And on cotton, this is just fine. But on wool, I could not make this make more than like a dot to save my life. It was bleh. Where the Bowen doesn't do that for me. The Bowen actually draws on the black for me. So I was left going old school, and the old school way is to find a plastic bag, or sheet protectors work well. This is just literally, you could almost see the something was mailed to me in this. It's a bag. It's literally a bag that I ripped part of it off, so I would just have one layer of it. Recycle, right? Save the planet. Anyway, so you trace your design from your pattern and then you lay it over your wool. And even in this glary, terrible picture, you can see where it will sit. And so what I did was I could get it to make a dot. And I found where my line ended, and I lifted this up and I made a dot with my chalk pencil. And I did that for all of the end points. And then I picked my first lines. So my first lines I stitched were these long ones. And once I had my end dots, I just held this over to get my starting point, and I free-handed it. I knew it had to be a straight line out to the dot. So I just stitched, came to the next dot, stitched up to where it was supposed to be, and I kind of took this on, put it off, and was checking that I was going the right direction. And you can see it's not exact, sort of. You can kind of see. Where's the lines? Oh, yeah, technically if I was supposed to stay on the lines, I failed. But the beauty of any project is nobody's gonna know. If I had held this up and not shown you where the actual lines were originally supposed to be, you never would have known that that wasn't exactly how it was supposed to be. So, and I used to tell my students this, both in the cutout phase and the stitching phase, if you go a little bit off the line, or your curve is a little bit tighter, or you know, your arch in your spider web is a little big, or you wind up cutting your ghost a little bit taller, a little bit wider, or whatever, who cares? Give yourself some grace, be kind to yourself, and nobody's gonna know. It's still gonna be adorable. As long as you didn't like lop his head off, we can figure it out. So I tend to freehand. That's a really long way of saying I tend to freehand. And on this, I just totally freehanded. I eyeballed from the pattern where it looked like it started, and I just did my fly stitch down, because it's just a straight line. It's not that big a deal. But on these, I did find my rough starting points, and then I freehanded my arches in, kind of, again, gauging off the picture, but just letting it be what it was, because every spider web is unique, and so is mine. Anyways, yay! All done. Not a pillow, but still cute. And I got it done a few days ago, so I have it ready in time for I got both of my things done in time for the season, which, yay! Victory! What a way to make my goals happen. It doesn't always happen, but it's felt really good. I've actually had a very productive, I can hardly wait to do my cross stitch video. I have so many fun things to show you. Like, seriously, come back. You'll want to. You'll be sad if you don't. Though I suppose it could be argued that if you don't, you won't know the difference. So, I mean, okay. All right, so let's get into my piecing then. I have a few projects I've been working on from my fall lineup. So the pillow and the wool truck were my priorities because I knew I wanted them done to be used for October, this October, which it is now. Can you believe it's October already? It just blows my mind. So here's my handy dandy binder with my 2023 autumn plans for September and October. And it just tells me basically a breakdown of what projects I'm stitching on or sewing on for the next couple months. Now, I've been working on this one, Fab Farm, since I think June. May or June, something like that. Must have been May. I don't know. Anyways, May or June. Maybe, I think it was June, because strawberries was one of my June themes, and I remember stitching my strawberries. And then they went so fast I had to stitch my horses. So I have done more than half of my critters at this point. I've done cows, horses, chickens, goats. So all I have left, and the bees, and the strawberries. So I have the sunflowers, of which there are 2 sizes, and the pigs. Is that all I have left? Oh, and the sheep, the sheepies. There we go. It was not showing, it was not computing as an image in my head. Anyways, sheepies as well. So 2 more critters and 2 strawberry, or 2 different sunflowers to do. And each one, I think there are 4 of each thing. So my thought was originally, when I made my autumn plans, to just keep doing 1 a month. That's what I've been doing up to this point. Is picking an animal and getting all 4 of them done. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. And last time we met, it was a bit of an extended time, and I had done, what did I do? I think it was the cows, and I had started the bees. And I think that's what I did. Yeah. No, chickens and bees. But I only got 2 of my bees done. So this won't be very exciting because they're exactly the same as the other 2 bees. But there they are. They're done. They're ready to go. And I got them finished, and it was the point where I was like, okay, now I've got to cut out my, I think it was the pigs that are next. I'm just going in the order that they are presented in the book. And I decided not to. Let's just put it that way. I decided not to cut out my pigs yet. And that's because I added in a project, and I like to stitch more seasonally. My quilting's a little bit more flexible than like my cross stitches. My cross stitch and my embroidery, I get them very seasonal typically. But I'm a little bit more flexible. And so that's why I thought I would keep going and just keep my momentum and blah, 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 blah. But I just don't want to. I think that's what it comes down to, is that my mood has shifted from springy summer into autumn. And so I want to be stitching on autumn things. And so what my plan for this is to put it on pause. Fab Farm is going on pause until January. And then I'll pick up again with my cows. Or my pigs. My little animals. And then again, hopefully move through them quickly enough that I can still have it ready and quilted by next summer. So that's where that one is. I started Baker's Dozen, which I don't have a full palette sheet yet to show you. In my binders, let me find one that actually has one. Well, I'll just show you so I have my flexible sticky tabs and my cover sheet, the picture of the project, Baker's Dozen, and then I have my personal color palette. So this one is scrappy enough. I'm working from a pre-chosen bucket of colors that fits my palette. But as I use new fabrics, I will add them to my color sheet. So it's not a full display of what will be used yet, but I'm doing this one out of 1800s prints for my husband. I don't think he watches these. I just don't think he has the time. Anyways, if you heard that, forget you heard it, Daniel. This is the first block. Oh heavens. Strings. You'd think I was in a sewing room. And you might notice it has Y seams, so inset seams where you come in, there's a couple different ways to do it. You can come in, pivot, and then come back out. Or the pattern says you might have a little bit more accuracy if you start at the center and go out, and it start at the center and go out, which is what I did. So you make your star, and then you add these 8 pieces in. 8? Yes. And it gives you this. And so this is one of the center, let me see if I can show you. One of the center 4. Right in here. So I have 3 more cut out. But as with all Jen Kingwell patterns, everything takes longer than you think it will. So these are foundation pieced. I mean, it's a soft foundation piece. You use a paper and you draw lines and then you take them off. Anyways, and cut them down. And so yeah, they're foundation pieced. But, and then these were all cut out I forgot I was going to write it down. I was going to go back and figure out. I will figure out next time I show you. I was gifted earlier this year, I guess it was, when I first started thinking about, maybe I should start this and kind of pulling fabrics for it. I was gifted a acrylic template set, and oh my gosh, it was such a lifesaver for cutting out these diamonds. It was awesome. So I'm already using them. I love them. Thank you so much. I will figure out, because my brain just doesn't retain things like that, but I will figure out who you are and write it down so that I can thank you with a name next time. Anyways, yeah, I love it. I think it's really pretty. They're kind of in colors that I've kept the color palette, and even the prints, like even though this has flowers in it, they're not daisies. They're a little less feminine. Daniel, my husband, actually really likes William Morris prints. He's pointed them out a few times when he would come into the shop and stuff and pick me up or bring me a coffee or something, because he's sweet. Anyways, I'm excited to keep working on this. It'll be one that I just kind of plug away. I do have a loose schedule that would have me finishing by next Christmas. But his birthday and Christmas are like 6 months apart. So if it wasn't quite done by Christmas, I could always bump it over to a birthday thing. So, but yeah, so that's Baker's Dozen. So I just got the one done. I have the other 3 cut out though, and hopefully, I was kind of looking. She has a center page with the different blocks, which I love. So this is the first one, and because of how this one pieced, I don't think there's any more Y seams. I think it's done in 3 rows. I think that's what I saw. So hopefully some of them will go faster than these first 4, and I'll be able to kind of make up some time in those. They're so interesting though. Obviously this one will go quickly. That one will go really quickly. This one will not. But it'll be so fun. I just finished Long Time Gone, which I wanted to have quilted and shown for you, but my friends, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have really been fighting the monsters in my head for the last 2 weeks. And so while I have gotten a lot done, it's been whatever appeases the monsters rather than what was necessarily on my schedule. So yeah, I didn't get it quilted. I have the backing pieced and pressed, and I'm ready to pin and go, and I have plans to do that this month because I'm still very excited about it, but it was apparently an ambitious goal. Anyways, yeah, monsters in my head. Long Time Gone. Oh yes. Anyways, there are some blocks that go quickly and some blocks that don't. I think that's where that thought was going ultimately. Okay. Next thing I worked on, I got this. I did this as a block of the month through my old store, Pioneer Quilts, down in Portland area, and it's beautiful. Halloween Fig Sampler by Fig Tree Moda. And I have collected all of the blocks. I think it was a 2019 block of the month. 2019, 2020, something like that. And I think I did the first block when I got it and quickly knew that life was too busy to keep up with it. And so I just collected them, and I have them here in one of my, scoot that over, in one of my tubs. And so those are the leftover fabrics, and then you can see the plastic bags in there that have the different months. And so I've been slowly plugging away on that, doing a few blocks every year. But this year I'm motivated, and I've condensed my itinerary, I guess. Hi, puppy. We're at the time of day where she starts asking for DINNER, which it's too early, my lovey. I know. Life is hard. Anyways, I think I've condensed what I'm doing down enough that I can actually make some serious progress on this. I had a brief moment where I was deciding whether or not to do needle turn applique or do machine applique, and I chose machine applique. So I have, I think 3 or 4 blocks. Oh, fiddle. Well, there she goes. Yes, machine applique. And I went traditional. So I just did a buttonhole stitch or a blanket stitch, it's called both, on my machine. And I did turn under the edges of my center strips. I don't know why. I had them already cut to do needle turn. So I just pressed them and then did a straight line of stitching for those. And then did the buttonhole on my machine. And it's so funny because I don't know if you guys can see it, and it's okay if you can't, but I could tell from my first set of leaves to my last that there's a bit of a relearning curve. I've done this before on my machine, but it's been a long time. And so like, I'll just show you. I went too far on there. I didn't turn the corner effectively, and I did it again there. So this must have been my first one. But then I started to get the hang of it, and my corners looked a lot better. It'll be fine. It's not going anywhere. And once it's all quilted and everything, and it's all wrinkly and cozy, it just won't matter. Anyway, so I got those 2 done, and I just got done everything I had cut out. Let me see if I can show this without it all falling everywhere. So these 2 are as called for. And then on this 3rd one, it's one of the instances where I am doing little customizations. So I have this really pretty, more Halloween specific fabric that kind of fits the Baltimore theme. It's subtle differences. It was supposed to be the black and white floral, which is like the gray on this next one. It's beautiful. But I've been doing little pops of something different as I cut it out, just to where it was a block of the month. There were 50 people that did it exactly the same. And I'm sure there are plenty more out there. And not that any of us will ever cross paths, but I want mine to be different. Even if it's just a little bat square here and there. I think that some of them have skulls and stuff, but I've kept it I'm not throwing in any other colors. It's all black and white, or I think it's only the black and whites really that I've substituted. So, and this was the last one I did. I like that block. It's pretty. Yeah. Yay! So those are ready. I have my next 2 packets pulled out to get their blocks cut out and prepped, because it's so easy once it's all cut out to, like, if I just feel like doing something different and I have a little bit, I can come in here for half an hour and just sew and not have to do any cutting. Yeah, so we'll see what more I can get done of that. You know, now that I've like decided what applique method I'm doing, and I'm kind of like on a roll with it. I don't have to make those decisions anymore. They're already made. So it should go more smoothly, I would think, at this point. I'm halfway through, by the way. I've done 6 months. There are a few blocks kind of bedraggled hanging on my wall back there. And I've done 6 months out of the 12. So, you know, this is totally doable. Not that it's competition or anything, but the Ghost Quilt by Then Came June. And I think it's so cute. And I told the story of it last time. I have chosen a deep purple background, and I'm doing low volume ghosties in holiday low volumes, Halloween low volumes. And there are 25 ghosts. I have done 12. So again, once I got these cut out, it was, and they're all kinds of scraggly, but it was just super quick at that point. I've got a couple duplicates, and then I decided to do a bunch of different. I love that one. That little pop of like orange and pink together. Super fun. And I'm starting to get into like the pink at Halloween time. This one, the little stars are orange and black and yellow. So they all have the same eye and mouth fabric, and then their bodies are just, they're just different ghosties. These ones are cute little happy, like, emoji candies. And this one is a piece I've been hoarding for a while. I think it's adorable, these little Kit Kats. Look at him taking a nap. Classic polka dots. This is actually a fig tree Halloween. It's not showing because our lighting is so poor tonight. I'm sorry for that, but it's orange and black. Some jack-o'-lantern faces, which I managed to get all going the same direction. And orange dots. Pretty fun. Oh, I have a bad corner there. Well, that's not acceptable. He's gonna go in the fixed pile. Anyways, they're cute, they're fun. Well, again, once they're cut out, they go super fast. The longest part is getting these faces, which isn't complicated. It's just like more pieces, right? But I found a pretty good way to chain piece them without getting totally mixed up. And frankly, after Elizabeth Hartman, these are easy peasy, so. They're going really quickly. I'm a little surprised that I'm already halfway done with them at this point, and we're on the 2nd day of October. So other than this one that needs armpit surgery to fix his point, yeah, this one will go, I would be shocked. I mean, it would take like the big earthquake coming to the Pacific Northwest for me to not finish the top, at least this season. So yeah, that feels good. Okay, so my plans. Finish the ghosties. Cut out and piece the next couple Halloween fig blocks. Keep poking away at Baker's Dozen. Like I said, there's not a lot of pressure for it. It's just like whenever I'm in the mood for it, and it's ready to go on the next 3 blocks. So I'll work on that a little bit. But really, it's the Halloween projects for the next few weeks until the season switches over. And which is good. It's nice to only have a couple, and I can focus on that. I've got my pillows done and my wall hanging done, so it's really just that, and then quilting. Long time gone. So the last thing I had kind of swirling around in my brain is I found, as I was digging through my fabric, this beautiful stack of autumn feeling fabric. And some of them are obviously all autumn prints, and some of them are just the colors that make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And it's been sitting here in this basket because I couldn't put them back away. And I've kind of looked at a couple books, and so I don't know if I will start something this month or if I'll wait till November. Maybe it'll be a November thing, because I'm just entertaining the ideas right now. But from this first book, I just want something autumn without it being Halloween. So I've got a couple cute Halloween ones going, but I love these warm colors. So something in that palette. I'll probably dig through my stash some more and supplement it a bit, so I don't have to go shopping. But there's this, I think that's okay to show, this quilt, which is big pieces. Let me see, where's the other picture? Nope, we're gonna stick with that one because the flat out picture shows the pattern, and I don't want to do that. But you can kind of see they're like leaves, and they've got a couple of focal points. So I could see that potentially translating into, if I found some really lovely soft creams or something for the backgrounds here, and then letting, these colors, some of the colors in there be the leaves. That could be really fun. And this one only finishes, it's 60 by 60, so it's not a big quilt, and it would go super quickly. I think they're like yeah, they're 15-inch blocks. So, I mean, it would just go really fast. From Vintage Quilt Revival. Great book, by the way, if you're wanting, you know, good, solid instructions and everywhere from beginner to more advanced blocks. It's a really great book. But, yeah, so that's something I'm thinking about. But then I was digging around as I was thinking through this. Farm Girl Vintage. I've already made the main sampler there. But towards the back, she shows this one, which is this quilt pattern with this block. It's the coolest thing about this book is that you can take any of the blocks. There's like, I don't even know, 30 or 40 of them. And you can put them, because it's 2 sizes, and she gives the dimensions for both sizes on every block. I mean, you could pick this one and put it into that quilt. You could pick that block and put it into that quilt. And anyways, I love this. I love the falling leaf kind of feel. And that is, I think, at this point where I'm leaning, it would take a little bit more work. It would probably be something I don't finish this year, but it might be something that I love even more. So we'll see. I think that could be really, really pretty. In my autumn colors. So I'm kind of like, I'm thinking about those. That's kind of swirling in the back of my brain. And every time I come into my room, I see my pretty basket of autumn colors and I want to play. So this is something that feels really positive right now for me. So it will happen sometime this fall. I just have to decide on my pattern. Okay, last but not least, I have a little bag of haul. So I went to a shop. I had been to their booth at a quilt show pre-pandemic days, back when I worked booths at quilt shows. And when you go on your break, you get to wander around and look at all the shops, and it's so much fun, and all the quilts. And anyways, Carriage Country Quilts, see if it'll focus there for you, is in Des Moines, Washington, Des Moines, Iowa. I did not go to Iowa for this. It's about an hour and a half south of me with traffic. And it was so lovely. I mean, it's your quintessential quilt shop. It's in an old house. You're looking out over the Puget Sound. Every room is a different theme: Christmas, spring, kind of Americana reproductions. There's a children's room. They've got samples hanging everywhere. It was absolutely beautiful. They have a whole wall of hand-dyed wools that I think she said the husband of the owner dyes. They were gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Anyways, I was thrilled to go there. I completely plan on taking my mom and my sister when they are here with me next week, and we're gonna go play again. So I'll probably have more haul then. But here is what I found. I tried to be good. But I did get a few things. So this one is from the same line as the back of, it's from the same line. This still has salvage. Ha 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 ha. It's Andover Fabrics. And it doesn't have any, created by Max and Lewis. Anyways, Andover Fabrics. So I was wrong, it's not Amoda. But this is from the same line as the backing of my Halloween pillow I just did. So I thought that was gorgeous, and it would just work into a lot of different projects I have going on. And then as far as fabric went, I bought 2 Christmas little volumes because I ran out of larger pieces for backgrounds in my Christmas Dresden. So I'm still on the lookout for probably 1 or 2 more, though I bought enough that if I can't find anything, I could just use this and go for that. I found the Scary Woods. It's so cute. And they had a sample hanging on the wall, and I think it was in these fabrics even. It was darling. I don't know what colors, I'll do mine. But it's so cute. Can't go wrong with an owl quilt. Owls in the woods. So cute. And then my last, because I finished off a bolt, I got a free pattern. And I have several Timeless Tradition patterns, and I just think they're lovely. They're so sweet. This would be really, really cute. Done a little bit brighter. Excuse me. And I found a fat quarter that I think will be my palette inspiration. So, not anytime soon, but it's sure sweet. And last but not least, this is so outside of my normal, but I fell in love with it. So, Witchy Sampler with the crystals and the moon cycles, and you've got an owl, mushrooms, bunny, a little moth up there. I'm assuming this is an all-seeing eye or something. I haven't actually opened it yet. But so I showed this to my sister and she loved it too. So if I were to go with a palette similar to this, which I don't know, maybe I will. I found this awesome fabric with, what are these called? Death moths? Somebody will know. Death mask moths, I think. Something like that. It's a moon moth. Alexander Henry, why can't I speak all of a sudden? Fabric collection. Moon moth. And I love that you get those little pops of different colors in there. Again, they're not showing great because of lighting, but so if I were to go for a brighter palette, more like what's pictured, this would probably be, they have a focus piece in here through all the glare, which they used a Ruby Star line that has moths, owls, and unicorns, and it's amazing. But that one wasn't available, and I'm not totally convinced that that's the way I want to go, because I also thought, okay, what if I took this more earthy and made it more like a fairy kind of thing, and we had really rich deep greens and teals and orange and like burnt orange, and like if I could find the right focal piece for there that would kind of send those vibes out, I think that could be a really cool way to take this. And I might change the all-seeing eye because it's a little creepy. But I like everything else. And I think I have my sister convinced to do it with me next year, so that'll be fun. On another note, speaking of moths, I couldn't leave this back quarter behind because it's so pretty. And I think that's my goodies. That's my bag of goodies. So, okay. It never fails. I sit down and I think, okay, I've got everything organized. I'm just going to fly through this. I'll be done in half an hour. And here I am an hour later and still chattering at you. So I guess I had more to say than I thought. I hope that you are all doing well. I hope you're getting some stitching done. And, I forgot. I have a couple books, book recs. I have been in a terrible reading slump. I have not finished a book in 2 months, which is not like me, but it's the brain demons that are getting me down. So the bug will come back. It always does. But until then, these are a couple books I've read in the past and loved. So, and in keeping with starting October, they have all the atmospheric vibes without being, these ones are not truly terrifying. They're safe to read if you don't like scary books. They're not horror, but they're atmospheric and eerie. And The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, cannot read and speak at the same time to save my life right now, is about a reporter that goes in to speak with a reclusive author. It's this exclusive interview that they've gotten. She never gives interviews about her actual life. And when she has given them in the past, every time her story is different. So this reporter is going in to get the real story of the author. And it is the 13th tale. It's so good. I was completely captivated. And like I said, it's all the moody vibes without being scary. So very good. I highly recommend it. And you know, you can't go in October without reading Rebecca. It is so good. It is so good. If you've watched the movie but not read the book, please turn off your television and read the book, or get a book on tape or something, because holy Hannah, this book is good. I remember when I was a teenager and my mom was like, oh, you should read this book. And she would always do that. My mom is a prolific reader, like prolific. Like if she doesn't read 20 books a month, something's wrong. Prolific. And and she has an amazing memory, unlike me. I forget everything the moment I think about it, and she retains everything. She has this amazing mind. But I remember when she started, she would give me book recommendations, and half the time be like, oh, Mom, okay. You know, like, I don't want to read the books you read when you were a teenager, because I'm a stupid teenager. But I should have listened more, because her recommendations were good. I have never read something that she recommended that I wasn't like, that was a good read. That was good. I'm glad I read it. This is one of the few that she got me hooked on the moment she said it. And she sold it to me by saying, I haven't read that book in 15 years and I still remember the first line of the book. Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. And she went on to describe the story of the unnamed woman, which is the one thing I'll give the movie. The Netflix movie did not give the main character a name, and I would have been seriously upset had they done so. So I appreciated that nod to authenticity, but the book is just so much better. It is beautifully written. It is so moody and gothic atmosphere, and it's so good, and it just leaves you at the end wanting more. So that's all I'll say. If you haven't seen the movie and you haven't read the book, this might be your next read, because it is so good. It is so, so, so good. And I've read it many times. I love it. Anyways, so there's my book recommendations if you want a moody October without being scared out of your pants. And if you want scary books, I can recommend a few of those too, because I actually like scary books as well. So let me know if that's what you want. I'll probably recommend a few more just from my collection as we go through the month, and I do more videos because there's more that I've already read that I can recommend. I have some in my TBR, but I always hesitate to recommend books that I haven't actually read myself, because you never know. I don't know. Not that my recommendations are like the end all of recommendations by any means, but I want to be able to stand by what I recommend, I guess. So there's that. Is it time, little one? No, you still have 20 minutes. Your clock is off. I know, but you're adorable. Where's your toy? Go find it. Go find it. Oh, no, can't. It's too exciting. All right. Happy stitching, my friends. Happy quilting. We're quilting today. So, plus still kind of stitching. I hope you have a wonderful evening or morning or week or wherever you are. You're not necessarily watching this in the evening. I hope you're well. I hope you're stitching. And I will be back soon. Take care.